Am I the asshole for asking my bio father's wife uncomfortable questions in front of her family? IDK if I'm TA here or not. Opinions vary, so I decided to ask internet strangers. I have had a bad year. My mom died in February and nothing has really gone well since then. She and my bio father were never married and he wasn't around while I was growing up. I have like a vague memory that he visited once when I was really little, but otherwise he hasn't been around. He says it was because he wasn't ready to be a dad, so it was better that he sent my mom child support and stayed away. Whatever. My mom doesn't have a lot of family. So when she died, my bio father was the one who was asked to take me and he agreed. I wasn't a fan of the idea, but no one really cares what I think and it's better than being in the group home I was at while they figured everything out. He's been okay and mostly lets me do my own thing. His wife Cheryl treats me like I came from juvie and bothers me about every little thing from my clothes to the way I do laundry to telling me not to get in trouble, like I can't just go to school without doing something shady. They have 2 sons, 6 and 3, and the 6-year-old mimics her riding my ass. I told my bio father and he said he would talk to her. But now she just does it when he's not around. Her family was over to visit this weekend and her mom asked how I was settling in at school. Cheryl commented that I was staying out of trouble. I was nearby and it just hit a nerve, so I said, "Why do you think I would get in trouble?" She looked embarrassed and said that she knew I came from a rougher area and might not know how things worked here. I asked her what she meant by rougher area and she said it was more urban. I think her mom was embarrassed for her and said that she was sure I've always been well behaved. I asked Cheryl why she thought living in the city meant I would get into trouble. My bio father walked up then and the subject changed. But later Cheryl was mad because I embarrassed her in front of her mom and implied things. I think her mother must have said something. Bio father asked me about what happened and now they're mad at each other. But he says I should have talked to him instead of picking a fight. Beautiful, you are not the asshole, but you uncovered her bias in such a clever way that she outed herself as front of everyone. You just kept feeding her rope as she professionally hung herself. Lol. Excellent job. Not the asshole. Cheryl was mad because I embarrassed her in front of her mom and implied things. Isn't that exactly what Cheryl was doing to you? She's upset because she got called out on her prejudice BS. It does sound like your dad is trying his best with this new scenario, but also that he is supportive. Keep the lines of communication with him open and see where it goes. Not the asshole. You did not pick a fight. You called Cheryl out. She didn't like being held accountable for her jealous and immature attempt to tear down her own stepchild. She played a stupid game and won a stupid prize. I'm sorry that you have endured all that you have. No child, regardless of age, should have to deal with grief over a parent and upheaval. You are strong. You have a good sense of self-respect. You are someone your mom can be proud of. Not the asshole. Cheryl has the mindset of that rich, rude person. And don't feel bad for talking back. 'Cause I would have done worse. Especially after my mom dying. Sorry for your loss. Not the asshole. This is a tough situation and everyone is adapting. Your stepmother brought the embarrassment to herself with her attitude. It sounds like your pushback worked. It's engaging the people to help her see reason. I hope your father gets better at having your back here, and I hope your stepmother starts treating you better. Not the asshole. Cheryl didn't listen to your dad. So shaming her in front of her mom was the best thing to do. She has some preconceived notions about your upbringing that need to be neutralized straight away if you are to live there in peace. Stay vocal. I'm proud of you. And I think you may have a new cool nana. Not the asshole in any way. In fact, awesome to redirect her comments back at her. Cheryl needs lessons in manners and being around children, young adults. Not the asshole. You tried talking to your bio dad and that didn't help the situation. What else could you really do? Plus, you asked important questions. Why was she prejudiced against you? Sounds like she has her own preconceived notions, biases that she projected onto you. A kid who just lost their mom and was forced to move in. Can I ask if you aren't white? Because I have an idea her racism is showing. You aren't the asshole. Cheryl is a grown-up and she knows when she's picking a fight. Not the asshole. That's on her. You responded as anyone would, being treated like a criminal without cause. She must have been told you misbehaved or something? Unclear. But it seems silly for her to treat you like that without a reason. Not the asshole. You called her out. Clearly talking to your dad has done jack about it. Maybe this will. She knows her line of thinking is wrong, which is why she got embarrassed. Not the asshole. Kill Cheryl with kindness. Befriend her mom. Keep your dad updated about how she talks to you. Record her and show your dad. Bite your tongue. Secure the bag. Start talking about college. This is your chance to write your ticket. Not the asshole, and your dad sounds like he kinda has your back, which is almost unexpected in your situation. Props to him. Sorry for your loss. Not the asshole. There is a difference between picking a fight and calling someone out when they're being rude. A huge difference. I'm glad you stood up to her in front of her family. Hopefully having that mirror held up to her face will cause her to rethink her behavior. NTA. So glad you got her to examine her own words if she's embarrassed. It's because of what she herself said. Not the asshole. I am so sorry your mom died off. The last thing you need is a wicked stepmother. Inta at all, and I'm sorry for your loss and for this continued crap. Not the asshole. You did talk to him. She's still implying that you're a criminal and don't know how to behave in civilized society. If you didn't yell and just ask clarifying questions. Her embarrassment for being a jerk is all on her. Good luck. Not the asshole sounds like she's made judgments and assumptions about your life without even attempting to get to know you or your life prior to living with them. Not the asshole. And you did go to your dad first and she started doing it when he wasn't around. Watch out for this one. Sounds like she doesn't want you there and will be hard on you. You've tried to reach out to dad, but he brushed you off. Cheryl just turned into a sneak with her bad behavior, which she knows is bad behavior, or she would do it in front of your dad. Not the asshole. You should send this link to your dad so he is more aware of what you are regularly putting up with. I don't know if parenting classes, therapy, or what is called for, but there needs to be some sort of buffer for this ongoing attempt to make you feel unsupported and unwelcome. Not the asshole. Cheryl messed around and found out. If he mom asked you how school was going, Cheryl should have kept her yap shut. She didn't and she got consequences. Not the asshole. It does not sound like you picked a fight. It sounds like you asked reasonable questions to determine why she had a crappy attitude. Cheryl was mad because I embarrassed her in front of her mom and implied things. If she said that to your dad, I would mention that she has been implying things since you got there. That you are a troublemaker. That you are from a bad area. And she continues to do so, and now the 6-year-old has started in on you as well. I am sorry for your loss. I'm guessing she's white and you're mixed? NTA. She embarrassed herself. Not the asshole. Every time she forgets to stay in her lane, feel free to shove her back in it. You handled it perfectly. Not the asshole. You just want to know why she's treating you like a criminal when you have done literally nothing wrong. Bio father wanted you to talk to him first? You did. And his efforts have done nothing. Are you supposed to just keep letting her nitpick you and take the abuse?
Am I the arsehole? For using a fake test to expose my colorblind brother in front of friends and family? So, I F17 have a brother M15 who claims he's colorblind. When he was younger, all his paintings and drawings seemed normal. The whole colorblind claim started after he turned 10, all because of a light pink t-shirt he perceived as white. My parents joked about him being colorblind since my uncle my dad's brother is. He continued this claim, constantly mentioning it to others, which has always annoyed me because I'm sure he's lying. I've told my parents, but they brush me off, saying I'm just jealous of the attention he gets. Last week was my birthday. I had a gathering at home with about 25-30 people on the weekend. The topic of his supposed color blindness came up again, with everyone asking him to identify colors. I, feeling frustrated, asked him to take an Ishihara test on the TV. He agreed after some hesitation. I went up to my room to grab my computer to plug to the TV. But instead of a genuine test, I used a fake Ishihara test, one that anyone could pass. He pretended not to see some numbers, and once the test concluded, I revealed to everyone that it was a fake test, aiming to show he was lying. The mood turned sour. My brother and parents were furious. My family tried to brush it off, making jokes, and my friends found it amusing. Post-party, my parents were livid. They labeled me as an attention seeker and a jealous asshole and grounded me for embarrassing my brother. I feel like had he been honest, he wouldn't have been humiliated. So, am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Being colorblind myself, it's annoying for someone to fake it. It's a disability. It screws with reading resistors, so no elec. Heng and other qualifications, flying, no naval aviation. Creates challenges on coordinating clothing. Roommates got used to the questions, it flummoxed their girlfriends. So annoying to explain. Don't need the fakers. Buy him hot pink pants and a pink t-shirt and ask him to wear it and go to school. Tell him it's blue and black or something. When he refuses to wear it, ask him why the colors are nice. Not the asshole. Your brother's long con got exposed and your parents appeared stupid in front of the family for going along falling for his lies, which is why they are angry. It's not your fault if they didn't stop his BS when you were telling them about it. Not the asshole. Do your parents usually favor your brother? You're the attention seeker? I know a few colorblind people. I can't remember it ever being the topic of conversation unless it was totally relevant to something we were doing that was impacted by their condition. Also, the people I know have learned to identify most colors by the shades they see, even if it's not what we see. Not the asshole. Your parents are just wrong. Not the asshole. Lol, I wish I was there to see it, but why didn't your parents took him to ophthalmologist when he claimed he was colorblind? Not the asshole. Your brother was lying about having a disability. Not the asshole. Liars deserve to be called out and you didn't embarrass him, he did that to himself. Not the asshole. For people who are hand-waving this, he's been doing it for 5 years. He's old enough to know better and to know that lying is wrong. Your parents not looking into it and seemingly being dismissive is troubling. Not the asshole. Sounds like he wore a pink shirt and regretted it or felt embarrassed so claimed his was colorblind. Then it all got out of control. He is playing the long con for sure. Doesn't seem worth the effort. Not the asshole. Colorblindness is X-related, so it doesn't matter that your dad's bro is colorblind. It's kinda ridiculous for this lie to last for so long. I get why you'd grow tired of it. Not the asshole. Faking a disability, seeking attention for years, normal behavior. Exposing your brother for lying, constantly attention seeking, get grounded. I'm sorry, but your parents' logic is fucking dead. To me it seems that your parents have a favorite, and it's not you. Not the asshole. Your brother is the attention seeker, your parents are enabling his ridiculous behavior. Not the asshole. I did read most of the comments, so I kinda copy past my answer to one. The real are the parents who rolled with it without actually parenting, taking care of your child in a medical way by bringing your child to a doctor to assess its vision. Being colorblind is not a joke, as it can bring real trouble. It should have been assessed and certified by a doctor way sooner. So not the asshole, as it was not your job to do so. Not the asshole. You need to have a serious conversation with your parents. They are not supporting him, they are enabling him, but what you said in other comments, he constantly lies about other stuff and get away with it because your parents are blind. They are not doing him any favors, they are letting him become a pathological liar. You're the attention seeker when your brother was faking colorblindness for attention? Not the asshole. How do fake colorblind tests work? Info? I don't understand why you used a fake test instead of a real one. If it were a real one, whether he was or wasn't colorblind would have come out. He wouldn't know what to say to be discerned as colorblind or not, the test would just do its job. If he lies about what he's seeing, the test would be inconclusive. Which also just shows he's lying. The fact that you don't care about the truth, but only want to find a way to humiliate him and gain attention yourself, means you're the asshole. Your parents are the real R's here. Why don't they want to find out for sure and get him the support he needs? If he needs it. Not the asshole. He's more than old enough to know that lying about having a disability is shitty, and since your family was enabling him, only something drastic would work. Could you have been nicer? Sure. But he's been actively scamming people for years with no remorse, so he deserves it. Not the asshole. You did him a future favor. The longer he keeps lying about having a medical disability, the more likely he was to eventually have gotten busted for it. Like when it really matters and wasn't so funny if he were an adult and got busted lying about that, by a colorblind coworker or boss, he could be fired. You did him a future favor, ending that lie he couldn't stop auto-repeating for attention, for him. I'm almost 50 with 4 kids. Your parents should be laughing and thanking you, not grounding you. Show them our messages and happy B-Day. Not the asshole. It's reasonable to expose public lies. For the people who are saying you humiliated him? Good. You did him a favor. A little shame over stuff like lying or bragging about things that don't matter instead of real results makes people better people. Info: why haven't your parents taken him to be tested for colorblindness? There are several types. Yes, generally trying to humiliate your family in a social setting is a behavior. Not sounds like you found the golden child. Oh, how I don't miss being a teenager. You're the arsehole, but I feel like this arsehole moment was totally worth it. Him lying about it is surely annoying, and your parents accusing you of being jealous is aggravating. But you didn't need to humiliate him in front of all those people. You could have just had him take a fake test in front of only your parents. You also went out of your way to ruin an event that 25-30 people showed up to. I'm guessing your parents spent some money on this event too. I would be pretty pissed if my kid pulled something like this on a big event that took a chunk out of my wallet. Next time, don't publicly humiliate people. It never feels good. I don't see how calling him out in front of other people was necessary. Do this fake test with only your parents present would suffice. Choosing to do this in front of 20 people seems very spiteful. Info: I guess I'm confused about what attention he was getting for being colorblind. There are literally over 300 million people who are colorblind in the world. It's pretty common and isn't a disability. You're the asshole. Did you do it with the intent of embarrassing your brother in front of people? And what kind of person does that? A nice person? You're the asshole. Colorblindness isn't the issue. You intentionally embarrassed and humiliated your brother in front of a large group of people. It was a shitty thing to do. You're the asshole. Petty and bratty. You probably ruined your relationship with your brother forever for pulling this unnecessary, immature stunt when it's likely a behavior he would have stopped as he matured. I hope it was worth it.
Am I the asshole? for telling my cousin she is no longer allowed to hold my baby? For context, IF22 had my baby when I was 20. She was born 2 months early and had major breathing issues when she was born. I had told everyone they are not to kiss my daughter, but I don't care if they hold her. This cousin we will call Carol kept kissing my baby behind my back, and she had caught a couple bugs from this. The final straw came when Carol was saying goodbye to everyone in the house and kissed my daughter while I was holding her in my arms. X200B. Me, I have told you not to kiss her multiple times. Carol, well, I just did. X200B. I spoke with my husband M22 and we both agreed that she would no longer be allowed to hold her. Ever since, when she comes around, she ignores my daughter. Edit. My husband's family and even some on my side think I'm just being an asshole and need to lighten up, and everyone has been harassing me to change my standing on this. X200B. X200B. More context. Carol is my husband's cousin. She has disagreed with us since we got engaged, but we didn't care cause she stayed with a guy who kept cheating on her anyways. Not the asshole. It's your baby and you have the right to set reasonable boundaries to keep her safe. Carol continued to ignore you, and you're welcome to refuse to let her near your child because she cannot be responsible. If you and your husband agree that it's best this way, then that's that. You get to be the parents, not your cousin. YWNBTA. As a parent, your child's safety comes before anything, and you're the gatekeeper. If Carol can't follow your rules, that's her problem. If she chooses to act hatefully and ignore the child entirely because of it, maybe she's not the kind of person you want around your child in the first place. Yes, she will get sick sooner or later, but our main concern has come from doctors telling us it isn't safe, especially since she has had major breathing issues and was in the hospital for the first 2 months of her life. Not the asshole. I just had a preemie and I'm paranoid AF about people touching him. Fuck her. She cares more about her ego than your baby's life and well-being. And blatantly disrespecting you and your husband. She can kiss your ass instead. Not the asshole. It's your baby and you have to keep her safe. You set a boundary. She went past it, so you followed through. Not the asshole. This is how babies get cold sores, aka oral herpes, which can be very dangerous for underdeveloped immune systems. She being disrespectful. Me, I have told you not to kiss her multiple times. Carol, well, I just did. And that's the last time you'll ever get anywhere near her. Absolutely not the asshole. But Carol is. I'm sorry, but why is she even allowed into your home? Your baby spent 2 months in hospital after the first time she defied your boundaries. She should have been warned she couldn't touch the baby. Yet you let it continue. When she did it in front of you to spite you and say you can't do anything about it, the solution would be to ban her from your home entirely until your child was older or unit she could respect the boundaries you place about your child. Not the asshole. You and your husband get to make the rules for your baby. Not the asshole. Kissing babies can give them deadly viruses, bacteria. Newborn babies basically have no immune systems. Keep this Carol away from your kid. You don't want to lose a kid over a spoiled cousin. Not the asshole. PPL need to respect your boundaries when it comes to your newborn, especially when your baby may be immunocompromised. However, please learn how to space paragraphs in here, but thank you for using them. Not the asshole. You set a boundary that is important for your baby's health. She trampled all over it. Stop feeling guilty and enjoy the fact that her pettiness ensures she'll never kiss your baby again. Seems kind of win-win to me. Ignore the peanut gallery. Not the asshole. I've read some horrible stories about babies getting illnesses from relatives who kiss them without permission. One was even about a baby went blind after contracting herpes from a relative who kissed her on the face despite having a cold sore. Children can also get diseases like whooping cough from an unvaccinated relative, especially because she was premature and had breathing issues. Asking people not to kiss her is reasonable. And it makes sense that you would be angry. Even though your daughter is older now. This woman's lack of common sense and refusal to do what you asked her would make me not trust her with my child. Not the asshole. She was doing it intentionally to upset you. That much is clear. Not the asshole. I'd stop letting her come over at all and avoid her entirely at any function. Not the asshole. How dare she disregard your and husband's request on what is good for your infant? Add on that it comes from a medical team to protect a medically fragile infant and she is reckless and self-absorbed. Not the asshole. Regardless of how lax or careful you choose to be about your baby's exposure to other people's germs, it's your choice and those who are going to be around the baby need to accept that. Good for you for standing firm with your boundaries. If baby got seriously ill from typhoid, Carol's refusal to practice follow one simple rule. She really suffers no consequences. The baby does. And that would tough on the whole family. Not the asshole. Did you family not learn anything from the pandemic? No one should be kissing an immune-compromised child. No one. You are doing the right thing. Continue to protect your daughter. Frankly, she shouldn't be allowed in the house at all. No holding isn't enough. Not the asshole. At all. Kissing babies when their immune systems are still basically non-existent is dangerous enough as it is. But kissing a preemie is 10 billion times more dangerous. You do what you need to do to keep your baby as safe and healthy as possible. What kind of weirdo continues to kiss someone's baby after the parents have repeatedly told them not to, and putting your germs on this baby who is a preemie? Where are these people from? You are not the asshole. She would be banned from my child. So good that she ignores her now. Perfect. Not the asshole. But your cousin is. Protecting you baby is of the utmost importance. Why can't she just hold her and not kiss her? That is not a lot to ask. Not the asshole. A baby has essentially no immune system. Things that an adult with a functional immune system would shrug off with minimal or even no symptoms can land an infant in the hospital. Or a grave. Yeah. Even 20 or 30 years ago, the advice wasn't so extreme. Medical knowledge is always increasing. That leads to changes in standards. Sometimes rules are relaxed. See AIDS timeline. For example, sometimes they are tightened up. Since she obviously thinks she knows more than today's medical professionals, I would ban her entirely. Along with anyone advocating for her. Protect your baby. Not the asshole. As parents, you and your husband determine the boundaries for everyone else who comes in contact with your baby. If someone chooses to ignore a boundary, you can choose to limit that person's future contact with the child. Not the asshole. Those kisses could kill your child. The in this is your husband's cousin. She has no respect for your boundaries. Not the asshole. She is your child. You have the right to choose who holds and who doesn't hold her. Problems are not end of story. Woman shrugging light skin tone. Not the asshole. Good God. That's practically assault. Ethically, if not legally. Has Carol always been like this? Not the asshole. It's your kid, your rules. Tell Carol and anyone who disagrees to kick rocks.
Am I the asshole? For saying I don't want kids, I want money at the dinner table and offending my sister? My sister has a 5-month-old baby. Her and her boyfriend are not struggling financially, but their standard of living has very much decreased since giving birth. They can afford the necessities, but they can't go on vacation, can't go out to eat and can't afford a babysitter. They also just moved into a cheaper apartment. My mom has been asking my sister and the baby to move in with her so they can save money. My sister said no. For more context, my sister's boyfriend makes a little less than minimum wage. He only works part-time at a restaurant to focus on creating his music. When my sister announced they were trying for a baby, my mom was really worried, and she's still worried about their financial situation. My sister is the primary income source for their household, and my mom has been giving them some money every month. I make a little more than my sister, but I don't have kids. So last night, all of us came together for dinner. My sister kept asking me when I'm going to have kids, and I said I don't plan on having kids. She said I'll change my mind, I'm almost 30. I said I probably won't, and she kept pressing me on why. I finally just said I don't want kids, I want money, and she got really quiet. When the dinner was over, she left a voicemail to my mom crying about how I attacked her, and my mom is mad at me. My mom wants me to apologize to my sister. To be clear, I do think my sister is in a nightmare situation, but I would have said I wanted money even if she didn't have a baby. I've always thought I'm not meant for parenthood, and I'd rather just be the cool, fun aunt that travels a lot and buys big presents for my nieces' nephews. I didn't mean to insult her, and I've never once commented on her financials or relationship because it's not my place. Am I the asshole? And should I apologize? Not the asshole. This is one of those things where context matters. If you were sitting at dinner and just randomly blurted out I don't want kids, I want money, that would be a nothing to say to your sister. But when she starts asking when you're gonna have kids, and especially when she refused to drop it, she's asking for a response like this. Not the asshole, she shouldn't have kept pushing you about having a baby once you had answered her. I hate it when people repeatedly force a question until you give them the answer they want. You don't have to justify not wanting kids to her. Not the asshole. Kids are expensive. You stated a fact. I have two. I'd rather have them than money, but I understand other people have different priorities. But I think your sister's question was obnoxious. It's wrong to ask someone when they're going to have a baby. Some people don't want children. Others struggle with infertility. Some people want to be married first. But the fact is that nothing could be less anyone else's business than another person's family planning. Not the asshole still reliant on mommy for money, throwing tantrums, and crying to mommy over nothing? So very mature enough to raise a child. Good luck to that child, yikes. Hopefully she's not usually like this. She said I'll change my mind. The only parents who say this seem to be the ones who have some regrets. Nothing wrong with wanting money and not kids. Not the asshole. You were pressed and gave an honest answer about your preferred lifestyle. You did nothing wrong. Your sister did by pressing the question and then not liking the truthful answer. Not the asshole. Don't ask questions you don't want, answers you don't like to. Also, the whole gross pressuring to have kids thing is rude and obnoxious, and frankly people doing it should expect pushback, and for the person they're doing it to not to be very nice about it. It's a personal decision that someone else doesn't get to decide for you. Not the asshole. She asked. You answered. If she didn't want to hear the answer, she shouldn't have asked. If they can't afford a babysitter on a regular basis and can't afford to go out to eat, then how are they not financially struggling? Not the asshole. You told the truth and she couldn't handle it. She chose to press you on a personal topic instead of leaving well enough alone. That's her problem. Do not apologize. What would you even be apologizing for? Sorry, I am prioritizing financial security? No. Stand firm on your beliefs. The thing is, you have years to change your mind and decide to have kids. Adoption is always available. But there is not an undo button on bringing life into the world. It is infinitely better to err on the side of not wanting kids, than to resent your children all their lives. Explain to her that asking over and over about when are you gonna have kids is very annoying, but that you didn't mean to offend her and that you truly feel like you would rather focus on your finances than have a child, and she should respect that, just like you respect her choice to make sacrifices in order to have a child, and that you love your nephew or niece and yada yada yada. Not the asshole. As a 30-something who has never wanted kids and a woman, which makes it worse, I get so tired of "you'll change your mind." Anyone who is pushing you on this deserves a snarky response. I have kids and don't blame others who have decided not to have children. It's not for everyone. And yes, kids are expensive and do drain the finances. Personally, I think anyone who plans on falling pregnant without proper finances is crazy. Not the asshole. She asked you a question about you provided her with an answer that was about you. If you didn't make any statement about her personally, she has no right to be offended or even to take offense. You don't owe any apology to your sister for honestly answering a question she asked you about you. In fact, your sister seems to be a bit spoiled, is overly emotional regarding something that isn't about her. Advise your mom of this. Tell her it's your sister who owes you an apology for continuously harassing you about your personal life, then whining to mom because she didn't like the answer. Not the asshole. Just because you were honest, and she had a kid with a loser so she feels bad about her life decisions, doesn't mean you're attacking her. Nata. Your sister can freak off. Kids are wonderful when you want them. However, there are sacrifices. Like finances. Your sister needs to back off. Asking about kids is not an appropriate response. She is lucky your mom is helping financially. She made a big mistake having a baby with this guy. No wonder she's so sensitive. Not the asshole. If your sister didn't want your answer, she shouldn't have so loudly and crassly demanded it. I'd ask your mum what she thinks you have to apologize for: your sister's disrespect, her rudeness, her arrogance, her insulting demeanor, or the fact that you answered a question your sister had no business asking. Not the asshole. She asked you, you answered. Then she asked again and again and again. I don't get why people do that. They're not going to miraculously like the answer the third or fourth time they ask. Not the asshole. Your sister is emotionally overwhelmed, sleep deprived, and she worries. She lashed out at you, but she is under a lot of stress. You two should calm down and let it drop. And no one is going to address the fact that this girl was harassing you about a very personal and individual choice. Your sister fucked around and found out. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I hate this so much. The only time I've ever felt bad about not wanting kids is when others made me feel bad about not feeling bad about not wanting them. Your sister made the decisions she did and we hope they bring her joy. You are making the decisions that will bring you joy. She can be emotional now. She seems to be facing an increasing amount of instability with a partner that isn't prioritizing her and the child. That sucks, but she also seems to have had indicators that would happen. Not the asshole. And I think I've said nearly the same thing myself. Smiley face. Your sister was being rude, not dropping the subject. You merely gave her a definitive answer that stopped the line of questioning. Woman shrugging. Not the asshole. But your sister is. Questions on people starting a family is very personal. Ask once, then STFU. Are you even in the type of a relationship that would make her think that you are interested in starting a family? To quote Homer Simpson. Oh, I have 3 kids and no money. Why can't I have no kids and 3 money? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She should have respected it the first time you said you didn't want kids. Moreover, your reason is not really a personal attack. She just took it that way cause she's hyper aware of how poorly prepared financially she was to have a kid. Am I the asshole? For refusing to cook separate meal for my niece? I F42 live with my husband M45 and our daughters F18 F16. We live in a different city from our families due to work. A few months ago my sister asked me if her daughter Kate F19 can stay with us since she was starting college in our city. She was scared of her daughter moving away for the first time, especially to a big city like ours. I knew Kate from before COVID time and remembered her to be a smart, sweet kid. I discussed with my husband and we agreed she can stay with us. Kate moved in around 2 months back. She was fine, came home on time, let us know her whereabouts, no partying. The issue was with food. She had turned vegan. Normally I cook for my family. I cook just one meal for all. And we are all dairy-obsessed people. Milk for cereal, butter in pancakes, cheese in everything. Eggs were our staple. Kate needed separate dishes altogether and we needed vegan substitutes for her. Since those are way more expensive, I told my sister she should give money to Kate so she can buy it. She stared, telling me how family doesn't take money from family to feed kids. I told her I would feed Kate same as other kids but I won't spend excess money on her. She said that's fine. Since her mom won't buy it, Kate started buying plant-based substitutes with her pocket money. For dishes like pancakes, I made food for her using her ingredients. But every time I made a huge non-vegan meal, she expected me to provide equivalent vegan meals. I drew a line at that. I can't spend so much time cooking another meal. She said everyone else got to eat it while she was left with few stuff go eat. I told her she is free to cook for herself and she hated that idea. It came to a boiling point last weekend when we had a barbecue dinner with friends. She got upset that her salad was very basic, it was good only with chicken added and had nothing else to eat. She complained and I told her she can cook for herself. She got even more upset at that and called her mom crying about how I didn't make any good meals for her and expected her to fend for herself. My sister called me yelling at me how I didn't love her daughter and was intentionally excluding her. My parents are also taking their side. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. If they could send her to a dorm, they would have to pay for her food as well. It was not good enough that you opened your home to her, but
Am I the asshole for refusing to attend my sister's destination wedding? My sister recently announced that she's having a destination wedding in a tropical paradise. Sounds amazing, right? Well, here's the catch: she expects everyone to pay for their own travel and accommodations. Now, I love my sister and want to support her, but attending this wedding would be a huge financial burden for me. I've been saving up for a down payment on a house, and the cost of the trip would set me back significantly. When I told my sister that I couldn't afford to go, she got really upset and accused me of not caring about her happiness. She even said that I'm being selfish for prioritizing my financial goals over her big day. I tried explaining my situation and suggesting alternative ways to celebrate her wedding, like throwing her a local reception or helping with wedding planning, but she wasn't having any of it. Yesterday, I found out she had been telling our extended family, who were also going to the wedding, that I had refused to pay for my share and told her that she was a snobby brat for making everyone pay for themselves to go to her wedding. My phone has been blowing up with texts and calls either defending me or calling me rude, a brat or selfish. Now I'm feeling guilty and torn. On one hand, I don't want to miss my sister's special day, but on the other hand, I don't want to sacrifice my financial stability. Am I the asshole for refusing to attend her destination wedding? Nope. Never give in to blackmail. You shouldn't sacrifice your down payment for your home to attend a wedding celebration. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I've said it elsewhere here, but will repeat it again often. These wedding packages offer free things or discounts for the bridal couple if their guests pay the full price. So, your sister may be harassing you because it's built into the guest pricing that your costs would be helping to pay for her wedding or accommodations. She's literally calling you selfish because she wants you to pay for her wedding. Not the asshole. If someone is going to have a destination wedding and not cover the expenses for the people they want there, they can't get mad when those people cannot afford to attend. You were not the asshole before, but now that she's spread lies to the family, you are even less the I'd send a single message to everyone blasting you. Be calm and blunt. Facts only. Tell them the conversation from your end. Show proof if you have texts. Stress you do not appreciate her lying nor them attacking you without asking for your side first. Then state you are absolutely not going after how you've been treated. Then stop engaging and wash your hands of it. Not the asshole. Just tell people the truth. People should recognize 1. Nobody really cares about their wedding. 2. If they do an expensive destination, not as many people will go. Not the asshole. That's how destination weddings work. Not the asshole. Anyone planning an out-of-town wedding should know that some people won't be able to attend due to financial, work, or other reasons. Whining to your family about your decision makes sis the Not the asshole. Haven't even read the post, but nobody is ever the for not attending a destination wedding where they're expected to bear all the burden of attending. The fact that she's lying about you should be a huge clue that you're not in the wrong and she knows she's the problem. Not the asshole. If someone has a destination wedding, they should expect the guest list to be much smaller. I've never understood why they would think it's okay to make someone spend that much. Not the asshole. When people have a destination wedding and they don't pay for travel accommodations, usually the bridegroom do not. They cannot be upset when invitees cannot attend due to cost. Your sister is doubly the as she is now lying to family about your conversation. Not the asshole. Time and time again people don't understand that an invitation is not a summons. Not the asshole. You made it clear you can't afford to go, but your sister is tough for telling your Extended family, that terrible lie. Let your sister's fiancé know she's a selfish, entitled brat and liar, so the wedding will be cancelled and he can avoid a messy divorce. Not the asshole. And now I wouldn't go on the grounds that she lied in order to get the rest of the family upset with you. Not the asshole. She chose a destination wedding knowing that many people wouldn't be able to attend. She's free to make that choice. And you are free to decline. You are not required or obligated to sacrifice your own financial health in order to make her pretty princess dreams come true. Not the asshole. As someone who had a destination wedding, I made sure to save additional money up for family I wanted to come that couldn't afford it so that they could still be included. If you are unable to go due to finances, your sister should either help you out or accept that you can't make it work. Not the asshole. You're not required to go, and if it's something that would hurt you financially, that's an incredibly valid reason. I live in Scotland but am from the US and my wedding is going to be here. And I'm inviting family and friends from home, fully understanding that it might not be financially feasible and would never even dream of shaming someone for telling me they won't be coming, but also no one is expecting me to pay for their flights or accommodation. Not the asshole. Put your financial health first. Sis is being manipulative and trying to guilt you. She told you you didn't care about her happiness and you were selfish. That's just good old gaslighting. I think she let the cat out of the bag with what she told everyone else. She said you refused to pay for your share. To me that sounds like sis is expecting everyone to front the cost of her wedding. Not the asshole. People are allowed to have their destination weddings, but they don't get to be upset when people can't make it. I'm sorry that your sister is selfish and can't see from your point of view. And I'm sorry you feel guilty, but the fact of the matter is that destination wedding cost a lot of money, even for the guests. You are absolutely not an for not being able to afford to attend. Not the asshole. If someone has a destination wedding without footing the bill for guests, then they need to except not everyone can attend. Period. Your sister needs to grow up. And you need to take care of your financials. Not the asshole. I can't imagine that you are the only person who has decided not to attend. You should prioritize your financial goals ahead of her wedding. Don't feel guilty, you have no reason to. Not the asshole. If you can't afford to go, then you can't afford to go. Not the asshole. People who plan destination weddings should be fully understanding of those who cannot afford to go. Do not put yourself in a financially poor situation to attend what is essentially a party. Just send a wedding gift and well wishes. If it mattered so much to her, she can pay for your trip or switch to a more local venue. Not the asshole. In the end, you have to take care of yourself first. If going to a destination wedding will set you back financially, don't do it. Your sister should be understanding. Disappointed, sure, but ultimately understanding. The fact that she is not your fault whatsoever. Not the asshole. If you plan a destination wedding, you have to be willing to accept that there will probably be people that will not attend your destination wedding. Not the asshole. She is for not accepting your reasons and even more so for lying about you. Not the asshole. We put over $1,000 down payment for a destination wedding. The couple broke up and our money was non-returnable. We only got credit for flights. Never again. You are saving up for a house. Something you'll be in for years if not decades. And your sister wants you to put that off for her waste of money vacation wedding? Of course you're not the asshole. Am I the asshole for not forcing my nephew, of whom I have custody, to visit his mother? I have custody of my stepsister Gia's son, Arthur, and I have since he was 6. Gia was going through a very tough time, having split up with Arthur's father shortly after having her second child, who was born with a severe disability, and she was struggled mentally and practically, which meant Arthur's care was falling by the wayside. Our parents stepped in and we all agreed that my husband and I would take custody of him. It was meant to be temporary. But after a year, Gia formally signed over her rights and my husband, Arthur, my daughter and I moved abroad. 1.5-hour flight from Gia. Arthur visits his mother in school holidays and Gia comes out to visit us in the summer and at Christmas. Gia has worked very hard to rebuild her life and now has a fiancé and a third child. Over the past year, Arthur has been putting up more of a fight about going to visit Gia. He says he wants to see his friends during holidays and do more sports. He competes in go-karting. He also says he doesn't like going to Gia's because he doesn't have his own space there. Has much less freedom. Doesn't like the food, activities, etc. I do understand, but at the same time I've always said it's important that he sees his mother. This came up again when I was making plans for half-term and Arthur asked if he could skip his trip to see his mother. He said going to Gia's place just feels like he's being punished for not being our bio child. He said he just wants to stay home like his sister, my daughter. This absolutely broke my heart. I love Arthur just the same as I love my daughter, and the thought he would feel singled out in any way she tore me to pieces. I talked it over with my husband and we decided that we wouldn't force Arthur to go. Gia is furious. She called me all sorts of horrible things. Accused me of pressuring her to give up custody of Arthur. This didn't happen, and stealing her baby again. Not true. She berated me for letting him call me mom. For turning our parents against her. For turning her son into a spoilt brat who looks down on her. Eventually she said if I didn't make him come and visit she would sue me for custody of him. I've spoken to a lawyer who says there is next to no chance that a judge would give custody back to Gia. The parents' mother and Gia's father think I should retain custody of Arthur, but that I should still make sure he is visiting Gia, at least for the next couple of years, as he is too young to realize the impact not having any bond with her will be, and he can decide that when he's older. My husband and I are just trying to do right by Arthur. I don't want him feeling like we don't take his opinion into account. But at the same time I don't want to put him through the stress of a legal battle over all this. And I believe Gia when she said she'll start suing for custody, even if she won't win. So am I the asshole for not making him go? Not the asshole. She signed over her rights, so that will be impossible for her to regain custody. He's basically a teenager and he sees things over at his mom's that he doesn't like. He doesn't have his own space. He probably feels like an outsider, etc. Sit him down and have a serious talk with him. Ask him why. What happens when he goes over there, etc. Get him to go in detail. If doesn't want to go, don't make him. It's up to his mother to fix her bond with your nephew, not him. He's a child. The thing that jumps out at me is he so clearly sees himself as yours. He doesn't want to be sent away. It makes him feel like he isn't your child. I can't imagine how hard that would be. You so clearly love him. I know this isn't useful advice, but congratulations on raising him in such a way that he knows he's yours. I think his needs and wants come above bio mom. You need to listen to what he's saying to you. That's putting his interests first. Family therapy or individual therapy if you think it could be useful. Sending hugs to you all. Not the asshole. She went and had another kid during the 6 years Arthur's lived with you. I'm sorry Gia was struggling when he was younger, but she was somehow still able to go live a life without him. It also doesn't sound like she's made room for him in her current home. That's not fair to Arthur. Not the asshole. He's your kid now. You are his mom. Yes. Gia might have had her reasons for not being able to care for him before, but if she wants to maintain some relationship with him, she's going to have to be the one making the effort. Ultimately, though, it's his choice on whether he wants any relationship with his biological mother. He can't be forced into it. P.S. Kids tell you exactly what they want and what they're not comfortable with. Maybe try listening and talking to him about the why. It's important you support it. No matter how silly it may seem to you, it's important to him. Not the asshole, but 12 is the threshold for kids sliding into their friends' and own life. They no longer just do as they're told. Going to need to find a compromise. This won't get easier. Y'all need to seek a family therapist. You need to 100 follow whatever that little dude wishes are. He's been jerked around enough by having such a fractured situation. Following whatever he wishes is really the only way to allow him to heal. Verbally support him. Tell him repeatedly there are no wrong decisions. That's very important. That's coming from someone that went through similar. Not the asshole. Tell her to get off her ass and come visit her kid. If Arthur doesn't want to go see her for the reasons listed, it would make sense for her to take a trip or two and inconvenience herself for once. Can you imagine how awkward it will be if you force him to go there now? Not the asshole. After the threat of suing for custody, I wouldn't feel comfortable letting Arthur visit alone. What if she refused to send him back? Not the asshole. I saw your replies. You're replying as a devil advocate in all of them. It's clear that you have the best interest of all parties. But someone will get hurt from this. And I'd rather the kid not being that someone. I think the best solution is for Arthur to talk to Gia via a phone or video call. Let them discuss this, with you as a moderator. All of Arthur's reasoning for why he doesn't want to go meet Gia is valid. Let her hear it from Arthur straight. There needs to be a video call. Given the distance with the adults of both households and Arthur, the communication needs to be crystal clear as to why he is choosing not to go. It would be hard and devastating to your relationship with Arthur to force this issue. That said, bringing everything to light calmly and honestly could start the process for change. She relinquished her parental rights, which means he's your son in every sense of the word. Meanwhile, let her come to him in his space. Give Arthur a chance to work though some of his feelings, not the asshole. As he is too young to realize the impact not having any bond with her. Well, he is old enough to realize his mom chose to give him away on the pretense she can't take care of him. Yet she can take care of her younger than him child. Put that on top of feeling singled out if forced to go to her. Stick with the decision your family of 4 made. I get that it won't be easy or very kind to your sister. But choices and decisions have consequences. Your child is more important than your stepsister. Not the asshole. Okay, so after finding out he doesn't have his own room or guest room to retreat in, that his bio mom is a full-time caregiver for a child, is it any wonder he doesn't want to go? Also, he may be pissed at his bio mom for giving him up and then starting a whole new family. I know I might be salty about that. I wouldn't make him go, but I would put him in therapy. I would also let his make video calls to Gia whenever he wants. Not the asshole. Gia can come visit Arthur where he feels comfortable. Isn't that most important? Gia? Arthur is the priority.
Am I the asshole? Husband's side of the family is pressuring us to give them a green card. My husband's family is Ukrainian, living in Russia and Italy at the moment. We have invited his dad to visit us in Washington, and while during the week that he stayed with us he managed to throw a huge temper tantrum because he demanded that we apply for a green card to our household, but it's never enough because her standards are too damn high. She insists one of us has to be up at 6:45 every morning to make sure the kids are ready and make the bus, which comes at 7:45. I told her they're old enough to not need that much help already. They can all dress themselves and pour themselves cereal and milk, there's no reason we have to be up. She says that cereal isn't a good enough breakfast, they need something more substantial, especially the 12-year-old, and that the 10-year-old has ADHD and will definitely struggle without help in the morning, and anyway she wants to see them off and kiss them goodbye for the day. So she gets up, I don't, then she gets upset that I never give her a morning off when all she needs to do is just take the morning off when she wants and let the kids handle themselves. Also, she is super strict about screen time during the week and is exhausted and snappy from arguing about it with the kids and upset I don't support her strict limit of 2 hours a day. I say as long as homework is done, why not until bed? She says it's not healthy for them, they need to play outside or with games and toys, read some books, just entertain themselves in more ways than one. I agree they should enjoy other things, but not seeing why we have to make such a rigid limit. She also likes to get out on weekends and do stuff like zoos, museums etc., but then complains about the planning for the outing and how grouchy the youngest gets by the end of it, and again, I say let's just chill at home and voila, you've cut the work. I'm an engaged and active parent, I'm not trying to get out of it, but I don't think I should have to help my wife dig herself out of her own self-created holes. She creates the stress for herself and then turns to me to alleviate it, which I think is unfair. Am I the asshole for telling her she needs to do less and then she won't need this level of help? This is how this reads. My wife is a hands-on, active parent who wants our children to have well-balanced meals, minimal screen time, and fun and stimulating outings, and that's too much work for me. I'd prefer my kids eat whatever they can find in the kitchen without bothering me, that we stay home and do nothing and the kids play on their devices and watch TV in their spare time. No wonder she's stressed. She sounds like a great parent, and you come off sounding lazy and disinterested in parenting your own kids. You're the asshole. I'm an engaged and active parent. Does anybody but you think this? You're the asshole. Breakfast, a screen time limit and weekend activities are absolutely normal standards. You're the asshole. What exactly is your definition of an engaged parent? Because what I'm seeing here is you think it's unreasonable to cook elementary and middle school aged children a decent breakfast and spend time with them so they don't rot their brain with phones and iPads. I'm an engaged and active parent. You don't sound like it. There are things a parent has to do for children in the mornings. Your youngest is 8. Cereal is nothing but sugar, a lot of moms don't want their kids to eat that every day. 2 hours of screen time is generous, not strict. You sound rather checked out. You're the asshole. You want an 8-year-old to get up, fix their own cereal, and leave for the bus on time while you sleep in? That's not an engaged and active parent. That would feel awful to me if I were a kid. You're the asshole. Trust me, your wife is already making one huge concession in her expectations by putting up with your lazy ass. You're the asshole. Get to work or it won't be long before your wife realizes how pointless you are and decides to cut you loose. You're the asshole. I was expecting some wacko Marie Kondo request, but making breakfast for the kids, limit 2 hours of screen time a day and do some family activity. I am wondering what is at this point your concept of engaged parent? Here you go, watch your tablet. You're the asshole. Your wife's expectations are extremely normal. You seem to want to get out of everything. Zero effort. You need to step up and actually parent. You're the asshole. Her rules and actions seem sensible. 3 young kids getting up and getting themselves to school on their own sounds like a zoo. And morning is a great time to have fun and productive parenting interactions. 2 hours of screen time is plenty, and it should not be permitted to displace other activities with strong positives such as reading and free play. You should be supporting her. You're the asshole. I love how your suggestion for helping your wife is just her doing more work, the work to lower her standards. Your kids are still at an age where they could use help and support in the mornings and a healthy breakfast. She isn't wrong. Sounds like she's exhausted from planning all of this by herself and carrying the mental load. Instead of saying all of this is unnecessary and your solution being to stay at home, eat cereal and watch TV all of the time, try to be a more involved parent and partner and take some of the mental load from your wife. You're the asshole. Newsflash: you are not, in fact, an engaged and active parent. Sorry bud, but as a father myself, these are pretty reasonable standards, at least the weekday ones. Maybe half adventure half rest on the weekends. You're the asshole. I'm of course happy to help and do my fair share for the kids or household, yet you complain when she asks for help. But I don't think I should have to help my wife dig herself out of her own self-created holes. It's not like you're lifelong partners or anything. You're the asshole for sure. She sounds like she has 4 kids tbh. They're old enough to not need that much help already. So if you leave them to get up and get ready for school on their own, are they on time for the bus? Have you actually seen this work? More than once? You're the asshole OP because you sound lazy and actually not engaged at all. You're the asshole. I really wanted to be on your side for this one, but nope. Your children are 8 and 10, of course they need help getting up and need a more substantial breakfast than cereal. The 12-year-old I could see beginning to get up on their own, emphasis on beginning. Your wife seems like a great parent looking out for her children's health and development with more activities than sit on your iPad and never bond with your family. Even from your point of view, you don't sound like an active parent at all. You need to read some books on parenting FR and help your wife out. I'm an engaged and active parent. No, you're not. Your will to help if the bare minimum is being done. If anyone expects more than the bare minimum, then you stay in bed and let your wife do it. You're the asshole. Yup, you're the asshole 100. Have fun being divorced when your wife decides she doesn't need a lazy do-nothing partner in her life. So let me make sure I understand: you are advocating for completely neglecting your parental duties in favor of sleeping in, not feeding your kids, not worrying about how they spend their time, not bothering with any activities or enrichment for them, and yet somehow you still think you are an engaged and active parent. You, sir, are the You're the asshole. Let me say it again: you're the asshole. Your wife's self-created holes are called parenting. Sounds like you ought to try it. Or maybe she'll get lucky and her next husband won't be worthless, lazy, and neglectful and totally unsupportive. You're the asshole. You're happy to help as long as it doesn't actually involve being engaged or active in the raising and parenting of your kids. She's overwhelmed because of your underwhelming approach to parenting. May your wife realize she's already a single parent of 3, so she may as well make it official and get some outside help. You're the asshole. Your wife is a very good parent, and you are less so. You're the asshole. You are neither an active nor an engaged parent. You're the asshole lazy schlub. You're the asshole. Your wife's standards are normal and required for being a parent. You absolutely have to be awake to get your minor children on the bus. One of them has ADHD and the youngest is 8, for God's sakes. You are not an engaged and active parent if you think 2 hours of screen time a day is too little and won't wake up to ensure your children, all 12 and under, are fed, dressed, and get to school on time. This can't be real. Your wife is overwhelmed because you can't, or won't, give a shit.